But yeah, once I saw you like, I fucking loved it. I was like,
Yep.
Raven showing that love for Sandra Bullock
So,
again.
I love Sandra Bullock. I don't care. She's the best. I'm just happy that like other people are finally starting to catch on because I've been calling Sandra Bullock the best
Can I tell
actress
you?
in Hollywood since the 90s. So
There's two reasons why this movie is getting a lot of love. Because I think like it, yeah, this movie should get love, but it's getting so much love. Like you don't get
so much. Not on a Netflix movie either.
not like it's getting like Netflix TV show love, right? Like like Stranger Things level.
Yeah.
Even Stranger Things, people had to watch it over the weekend and then the memes started. Whereas this one, like day one,
Started
memes,
day one. No one cared. Just spoilers
one.
everywhere.
But I think the reason why is twofold. One, undeniably, A Quiet Place, and two, Sandra Bullock.
Yeah,
People love Sandra Bullock.
they do.
I think, like, you can argue there's
I
a
think
valid
this movie
argument.
proved that. How much fans she actually has.
No, I think there's a valid argument that the movie star is dead, right? That franchises and brand recognition is the new thing that pushes and drives people's interest in movies. But there's still a few stars who kind of still have that.
Yeah.
And I think it also depends on the context. I think Sandra Bullock might not get as much love as she would have gotten back in the day for a theatrical release, but on a Netflix show though,
Yeah.
a Netflix movie, people are like, whoa, we like Sandra Bullock. Like there's some actors that still have that pull, like Will Smith, for
Yeah,
example.
Will Smith is one of them.
With Bright, which was another movie that Netflix did, right? That was, I think, the previous record holder. By the way, this has apparently broken Netflix's records for most viewed. Of
course it has. And I feel like there's a lot of things that are very, I don't want to say trendy, but things that can easily catch on about it. Like, for example, the image of, a mother and two kids with blindfolds on, or a woman with blindfolds on. That meme, Sandra Bullock's face, has been everywhere on social media for this past, week. It's like for example, my favorite one that I recently posted, because I also work part-time as a bartender. So there's like this awesome meme that's out where it's a picture of Sandra Bullock in the boat, and it's the angle from the perspective where the two kids are looking at her and they're in the boat and she's looking at them, and all of them have on, she has on blindfolds. There's a meme that says, bartenders, when a customer don't tip and comes back looking for a drink, and it's Sandra sitting there with the blindfold looking at the two kids. And I love that one, but like just certain images, it's like me, certain memes that are like when somebody falls or whatever, and it's like me, and then they have her with the blindfold on.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of awesome
It works
memes.
for a lot of different things.
Yeah, like the imagery, even the name Bird Box, it's like it's easily something that automatically catches people. Even if you don't know what it's about, you're like, oh, Bird Box, what is that? Other than it also starring Sandra Bullock, it being post-apocalyptic. There's a lot of little factors about it, like, oh, people can't see now. Before we couldn't speak, now
But
we
I
can't
also
see.
I think we're at a time where we're getting a lot of interesting, conceptually at least, horror movies, right?
And I love that because I think that the thrillers are coming back.
Yes.
Good thrillers.
Yes, we're getting more and more of that. And so this has come out at that time where that build-up is happening, right? So it's following that momentum, because again, you can't look at this movie and not think of A Quiet Place. It's not copying A Quiet Place. It's not like A Quiet Place.
It's not at all. But
but there are conceptual similarities in sense of you're unable to use a sense, or
Exactly.
your senses are obscured. Where it takes the senses that humans we have relied on and says, well, this is now a negative thing. So they both similar in that sense, and so like the comparisons conceptually at least are there. And then also having strong female leads.
Yeah.
There's similarity, even though this one focuses more on the mother than the other one, where you can see like if they continue the Quiet Place's storyline, you can see the similarities, right? Whereas this one, whereas spoilers for Quiet Place, The Quiet Place ends with one of the parents dying, John Krasinski dying. Spoiler, sorry. Sorry.
Sorry.
Just but still worth a watch.
It is.
But yeah, let's talk about this movie, Bird Box. It was actually based on a book written by Josh.
See, now I wish I read the book. I don't read very much. I'm not gonna lie, so you guys should know that now. If I'm saying that I'd like to read something, that's a big deal.
It was published by John Mallerman, and it was written in 2014, prior to A Quiet Place. So anyone that's like, oh, they're just copying A Quiet Place. No, this concept precedes A Quiet Place.
Yeah, that's the way things work out, though, doesn't it? Like, you know, great minds think alike. Movies always kind of come out around the same time with similar concepts.
From what I hear, even though it's similar conceptually, there's a lot of differences that I actually...
that would have given it some more depth.
But it actually makes me want to read the book.
Yeah, me
one
too.
difference, and this is a slight spoiler. I don't think it's a huge spoiler. It's a slight spoiler for the book, I guess. If you don't want to hear it, stop listening for the next 20 seconds. The creatures in the book, they aren't out to get you. They just exist. And their presence kills us, but they're not actually out to harm us. So the book kind of questions whether they're evil or not. You know, they're just like, what if these creatures appeared in our world and their mere presence kills us? But then that's why you're safe indoors. Because they're not hunting you. We're going to start off with the synopsis. 5 years after an ominous, unseen presence drives most of society to suicide, a mother and her 2 children make a desperate bid to reach safety. Which again, that's such a great concept, which I think the movie doesn't stick to that. It veers away from that, and that's. But I think
those of us that love the movie, because I still love it, Dave. Sorry. I think that's the thing, though. You know, you kind of get caught up in the concept of it.
Yeah.
You know, because it is such a compelling concept, and it is so different. You know, just the fact that it's so unique kind of automatically makes you feel like, yeah, but this is awesome. You know, like, yeah, you kind of failed, but the things that you did get right were so good that I'm going to forgive it, you know?
All right, so let's talk about your expectations going in, because I think it kind of links. Because you kind of, conceptually, we knew about the concept, right? More so than anything else. That's all what we knew. So
my expectations going in were...
And being a Sandra Bullock fan.
Okay.
Doing a Netflix movie.
All right, so going in, I remember seeing the trailer and thinking, what? Sandra Bullock's doing a Netflix movie, you know? Because I know how much she makes. That woman is paid. So I was like, Netflix can afford Sandra Bullock? But regardless, I was also, you know, we saw the trailer or whatever, and I was like, automatically, I knew Sandra Bullock's gonna be amazing in this movie. No matter what it's about, no matter if the movie fails or whatever, she's gonna be amazing. So I'm gonna watch it for her performance. Then, secondly, it was like, okay, the concept is really great. I hope this is really good. I don't know if it will be, because it seems kind of crazy, but hopefully they'll pull it off. And my third feeling was, regardless of all that shit, it's on Netflix. I don't have to leave the house. You know, I could watch it in pajamas while eating Chinese food. I'm good, you know?
Yeah, no, my expectations for this were twofold. On one hand, like you said, I mean, I enjoy and I like Sandra Bullock movies. I'm not the super fan that Raven is, but I do appreciate some of her films, and she's been in some of my favorite films. Everybody needs to watch Demolition Man, because that movie is awesome.
I love Demolition Man.
It was great. We need to do. Is that over 20 years old?
Ooh, I think it is.
Ooh, right,
I think it is.
That might be our next.
In the new year, starting off with Demolition Man.
I think we might have to start with that. Anyway.
Back to the feature, Demolition Man. It's happening.
Let's make it happen. But I thought, oh wow, like you said, Sandra Bullock in the next Netflix movie. It's no secret my feelings on Netflix movies of late. I think 99.9% of them are blah to okay at best. And Netflix keep channeling out so much content. I read somewhere that in January this year alone, they're releasing 38 original movies and TV shows. I'm like, damn,
that's a lot.
That's a lot in January only. Like,
wow, in January?
Yeah,
Jesus,
only January. Yeah,
that's a lot.
Like they're favoring quantity over quality.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was intrigued. I was like, okay, in all this craziness that you're doing, maybe this might be that interesting spark, because it's got the pieces that are interesting. Like I said, it was reminiscent to me of A Quiet Place, which I enjoyed but had its flaws, but I enjoyed it. And like I said, I enjoy Sandra Bullock, and so seeing her in this kind of role, I was interested in reading the synopsis. And I think it's a very timely concept, you know, in this world we're living living in today, showing a story that shows the strength of a mother, I thought was very interesting to see in this post-apocalyptic scenario. Like, you know, it's almost like allegory to the real world, right? Where the world we're living in is post-apocalyptic, and what it's like for a woman to live in this kind of world. Like you said, it opens up really well, right? And I think opening with her looking at the kids and just like, do you understand? Do you understand? I love that. I thought that was really well done, because it instantly brought me into it, and realizing the what's the word I'm looking for?
Severity.
And the severity of the situation, yes. I think instantly I was pulled into that, right? And then jumping back, initially I didn't mind the jumping back, because it gave us a chance to see her relationship with her sister, and we got to know her as this person who is kind of been more of the kind of rebel in life mostly. You know, like her sister, even though her and her sister grew up in similar upbringing, the sister kind of assimilated better into regular life, whereas she didn't. And she's pregnant, introduced right away. And what I love is, in the intro, we understand that she's scared that her child won't love her.
No, that she won't love her child too.
But what I'm saying is that there won't be a connection, because I think she says a line like, "What if it doesn't like me?"
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and that instantly, I love that, because it's not that she doesn't want the child.
Because her painting that she painted said that it was all about the inability to connect.
Yes.
Now her sister said in response, like, "What are you still worried about that? You shouldn't be worried. Yes. It's an instant connection with a child." And a mother. I think it's both ways. You know, she was explaining that not only is she nervous that her kid won't love her, but that she's not going to love her kid.
Well, see, the other thing I loved about it, though, is that it's never kind of made that she doesn't want the kid.
Yeah.
She wants the child. You know, even if the husband, the father, I should say, isn't around, and you know, that kind of stuff, it's never made any kind of point where she didn't want the child. She just kind of wanted to kind of pretend and ignore, but hope, like, there's a part of her that wants the child so that she can connect, but she's kind of made herself in this position where she's like, it's not gonna like me, you know. The child's not gonna like me. And I kind of love that beginning. I love that setup, and then we get the little hints of what's going on in the rest of the world, and then the shit hits the fan, and then we get her into the house, and this is where I start having problems. I think the problems is that the movie, because especially in the trailer, right, we don't get any sense that we spend that much time in the house.
True.
The trailers make us seem like she's outside.
I thought we were spending the whole time on the river and surviving.
You think that she's surviving, but the rules start coming into, and this is where some of the problems start coming in. And you've mentioned earlier that it over-explains itself. I would have been happy with, you see some shit and you die. Yeah. And it was interesting, I don't know if you picked up on it, that some people would see images or conversations with dead relatives. What was that all about?
Yeah, I don't know.
You know, because you think that's going to be something, right? Like, someone's like, "Mom," you think that's some kind of connection? Or like, because I feel like you shouldn't have elaborated. Just have them looking at something, crying, and die. Like, I love that. I just love that.
Yeah. You know? Like, I like the whole, like, what the fuck is that? You know, like, I love that whole part. And I thought, like, a lot of it was great, you know, like, the sister and the way certain people died. Like, John Malkovich had to watch his wife walk into a burning car and sit down and burn to death with a straight face.
That was one of my favorite death scenes in a, like, horror thriller movie in a long time.
Yeah, possibly ever.
It was done so well. Because
that's the thing, we've never seen that. A movie where everybody's just killing themselves, you know, and I love that. I love that idea of it, and there was a lot of concepts that I loved, but
and that's the thing, but it drops that halfway through.
Yeah.
You know, like, it because it opens up, because I feel like we should have seen more deaths like that.
Yeah.
You know, like, we should, like, I can't think of another death on that level, and there should be at least 4 or 5 in a concept like this, right?
Everybody else kind of just, like, died in the background.
Yeah, or just, like, died. You know, like the other guy, I mean, I guess when he ties himself to the chair, the way he kind of throws himself. But it wasn't as cool, as effective as that woman walking into the fire.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, you would do that. You know, like, and I think the movie needed more of that.
Because it also makes you feel like there's a lot less control, you know? Like some of the other deaths made it seem like maybe somebody with enough willpower could overpower this.
Yes.
You know? Whereas like when you see somebody walk into and sit
and not even screaming.
Yeah, no, she didn't even blink. She just sat down and closed the door.
Yeah.
Like what?
The old lady. When she kills herself with the thing.
Yeah.
That could have been done better. Because it's almost like she kills herself and then she's in pain.
Yeah.
It seems. Whereas she could have, stab yourself in a way that looks like you're smiling and just like, everything's okay. I'm just stabbing myself.
Like, did you see that terrible ass Hereditary?
No, because I've heard exactly
Hereditary is maybe one of the worst effing movies I've ever seen in my life.
My brother was like, "Why did you make me watch it?" I'm like, "I didn't make you watch it. You wanted to watch it." He's like, "But you didn't tell me not to watch it, so you made me watch it."
Oh, it's terrible. Hereditary is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. But they did do a better job of a self-suicide.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, my bad. All suicides are self-inflicted.
Right.
Wow.
But I see what you're trying to say.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it was the best, like, I don't know.
Like you're committing suicide.
Full out murder of self.
You're smiling doing it. Like, I wish the movie.
Yeah, she was like stabbing herself up, just smiling about it.
Like, I can see like someone smiling but tearing up. And just like, it doesn't matter. It's okay. It's okay. Like the lady in Get Out, where she's like crying, but like while killing yourself, that would have been more, I feel like, and then the movie, instead of doing that, it introduces other rules. Halfway through, they just say, oh, by the way, there's a mental asylum down the street. What? In that neighborhood? Like, really, Raven?
True. Very true.
This is just down the street. There's just a mental institution, in that kind of neighborhood bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, but whatever, we'll let that slide.
Yeah, I'll allow it. Sure.
And then the British guy comes and is telling everyone in the audience, of course, the exposition that we need, that, apparently people who are crazy, we use the term crazy very loosely in this movie, apparently, are immune to the effects of killing themselves, but are now under the control of an entity, which again instantly takes this force and turns it into an entity.
Yeah, exactly.
Which shifts it.
I would have been fine just never finding out what it was.
Exactly. Because now it's a thinking entity that thinks, that can create an army, that can plan. Because before it was just like a thing that just...
Yeah, because then it was weird, because I was like, is there an army of humans? Because if so, then why aren't they breaking into houses? And then, like, why are you slowly infiltrating and then, like, trying to get people to open their eyes? It was just a lot of, like, Because then my whole thing, too, is like, okay, well, if the guy ended up killing himself from looking at the surveillance camera, then how are they live broadcasting the events on the news? And people are watching that but not dying, and everyone on the show is watching.
Also, can we talk about that camera part? Leading up to that, right? When he was like, I have an idea. We could use... There's cameras everywhere. I thought they were going to use some kind of like different frequency, infrared. Yeah, like that's what I thought.
That's what I thought they explained, not just black and white camera.
Yeah, I didn't think it was just straight up.
I thought it was like a heat sensor.
Yeah, I didn't think it was straight up just regular thing. No, I thought.
Yeah, I thought we were gonna see some cool ass like heat vision, like some predator view.
The same.
And then I was like, all right.
Okay then.
So we got black and white feed. That's cool.
That's not gonna work. and then everyone just left him.
Yeah.
And just like went about their lives like nothing's going on.
Why wasn't somebody watching him?
Seriously, you don't have to look at the screen.
You don't have to be looking at the screen.
No, clearly you can be in the room and the monitor's not there. He's tied up. You know,
and somebody could have unplugged the monitor.
Dude, have a plan where you're holding the plug. If anything goes wrong, pull the plug out. Yeah. Instantly, like, why did you go downstairs?
Because, like, that's the thing. As a survival movie, it's not that great, because those of us that have seen a lot of survival movies kind of have our own survival plans. Yes. And it's not those, like, I was really happy that they went to the supermarket, but then y'all get there and y'all are slow strolling around.
It's just like it's nothing's going on.
I'm like, how do these shits not come inside? Like, at this point, I didn't realize they couldn't come inside. still right now. I don't understand why they can't come inside. But regardless, while I was watching this part, I was like, okay, so y'all at least don't know that these shits weren't already inside. Regardless if they can't or cannot, you don't know that it's safe inside. And you're just chilling. Y'all are getting potato chips?
We spoke off podcast about how they figured out the rules. Like, I understood little things here, but I felt like they jumped to the conclusion of, if you look at them, you die very quickly, because there's other things that it could be. You could have breathed it in.
But my question too is, would I pass the crazy test? I want to know if I'd still live and not kill myself in this situation, because there weren't really any rules of who's crazy and who's not. Like, what makes you crazy in this world? Because I want to know. Maybe I'm crazy enough. I think I might survive.
Could be crazy but hide their eyes until they need to reveal, because the British guy, his eyes aren't crazy when he first arrives.
Yeah, his eyes change, and then when he looks at
the fact
images that he drew that he felt the need to pull out for whatever reason.
Yeah,
because he carries sketches in his
because nobody saw that when they checked his bag.
Yeah,
apparently, because they did check his bag. It's like, you're not going to be like, hey, but he has these crazy drawings though. Like,
I'm a comic book artist. That's the thing too. How do you know he doesn't just draw like that?
Well, I'm just saying, you're gonna run out and people being chasing you, because his story is like, they chased us, blah, blah. You're gonna grab your comics. That's the only thing you're gonna grab.
Yeah. That was my thing. I was like, when did he get these images? Was he down there drawing while these women were in labor? Right. Like, why was he left alone but John Malkovich was in the garage?
Can I tell you, I love John Malkovich's character, because, like I said off podcast, he was just arsehole enough, but he never goes full arsehole, that he does that typical arsehole thing of sacrificing someone else's life to save his own skin. You know, like, you never get a moment when he was like, you know, he pushes someone else out of the way so that they die, and he's like, what, I don't care.
Instead, we got Machine Gun Kelly doing the rebellious thing, which kind of, like, it bothered me, because I'm like, it's bad enough this guy looks the way he did. Why was he in it at all? He did nothing for the overall plot or the driving of the story. The only thing I could think is that he personally knew the director or producer.
Right.
And expressed that he wanted to act in a movie.
We have that cop who's like, I'm a cop. Okay. He didn't, there's no reason. And she's like, never to Machine Gun Kelly. And then they end up having sex. I'm like, okay. And then they leave. All right.
Yeah. Why and now y'all are like in love together and you're going to run away. Why didn't you run away before you went to the grocery store?
Do we feel like he needed to die like that? I felt like he didn't need to die like that.
No, I felt like he didn't need to go out like that.
I felt like there were other ways around that situation that didn't involve his death. Because I like the idea of this writer, because you set that up, right? He's a writer trying to get real experience.
And I'm mad that his book never came back in the end. Like, that nobody carried it around. Nobody cared about it. Why'd you keep telling us you're writing a novel throughout the whole film for it to never come back?
For never to be... That's the problem. It's the movie's 3 different films. Because that's the issue,
is like, you brought up your own plot holes. Like, I didn't I didn't ask that from you. I didn't ask you to explain it. I didn't ask you to sacrifice anybody. None of it. I just wanted to find out what's happening with this woman and her kids on this river.
That's the thing. I wish, and we spoke about this off podcast again, I wish the entire movie was about her being a reluctant mother with these kids at the beginning of the film, and we just stay with them, because half the film is the kids in her stomach, so they don't get personality. What's the difference between boy and girl? Is that the one's a boy, one's a girl? They have no personality differences because we don't get time to spend with them. And then that scene where the boy's like, girl's afraid of you. What? Since when? Like, he just threw that in there.
Because of the last scene where she yelled at her for disobeying.
Yeah, but she's always been yelling. The movie opens with her yelling. She grew up with her yelling. This isn't going to change anything. Like, that's her life, is her yelling. Do you understand? Do you understand? Like, she's done that to both. They never explicitly showed a reason for girl to be actively, a girl who grew up in this reality, to be scared of her.
But the part where she was like, no one's gonna look, I was like, oh. Like, I will say though, some of the crazies, or pretty much every like really part was her on the river.
That's what I'm saying. The whole movie should have been on the river.
Because I felt like directing and acting, like, I thought was they killed it with Sandra Bullock specifically, and then Trevante.
Yes.
Tom, I fucking love Tom.
I like the relationship.
Tom.
And he should have been the only one.
And from the very beginning, they had chemistry, so I liked that. And I kept feeling the whole time, I was like, oh, I hope she get it on with Tom. I really love that.
He likes to open doors, though.
Hell yeah, he does.
He's like, let's open the door. And the one time where he should have opened the door, he doesn't. When he should have opened for John Malkovich.
He should have, dumbass.
Like, why?
Damn it, Tom.
And even his death, I was like, really? Did he need to? He didn't. I hate when people, like, he's like, I'm going to distract him, so I'm just going to go out there and shoot. You could have distracted him in other ways that didn't need to end in your death. He could have hid behind stuff and shot at them.
He could have smashed some car windows.
You know, like, he didn't need to walk out there for a certain death.
Because they didn't go into that house knowing somebody was in there.
No.
So all you had to do was also escape.
The movie should have been just her and the kids. She meets him, and they're together. And then I don't mind him dying. He changes her perspective on feelings and kids. The movie, they shouldn't have spent too much time in the house. They should have spent a couple of minutes in the house, or in terms of film time, and then have to start moving. The movie should have been constant moving.
But I will say, like, certain scenes that stood out, like I said, was everything on the river. I thought cinematography wise, I thought it was beautifully shot. Like, all the scenes that we got, you know, whether they be in the house, on the river, I thought that in terms of just lighting and shot composition,
the CG stuff, the river stuff was done well.
Really smooth, done really well.
You could you couldn't tell where the switch was which. I mean, clearly it was there, but you couldn't tell.
Yeah, it was done really well. And I think, like, for example, like, one of my favorite scenes was a scene where she was rowing, and it was the first time that we had kind of gotten a hint that they were just crazy people. You know, and when she's on the river and she's blindfolded, you hear the guy's voice, but you don't know where he's coming from, and it's foggy. And I like that too, because it's foggy, so even the audience doesn't know what's happening. And I thought that just in terms of, like, creating tension and just how that scene played out, I thought that was a great scene. And I really was legitimately scared. I thought that was the scariest scene of the movie, was her on the river, scared, not knowing where this voice was coming from, and the threat being a physical human. Yeah. I thought that was awesome, you know?
I will say this, though. Even though the river stuff was some of my favorites, I think because of some of the other scenes at home, and so already kind of making me question things, some of the river stuff I did question. I was like, okay, how many times can you all fall into the water blindfolded and all find each other blindfolded?
True, yeah.
You know, like, I wish,
because I was like, y'all are gonna drown. Somebody about to drown.
And the kids had never been in water before, right? So they can't swim, but somehow they can all find each other. I wish the movie did more of using tech and smart ingenuity to keep in track with each other, right? Like, in real life, we have locators for kids. Have stuff like that where it's like, I'm close to my kid, because I feel like sometimes they found each other too conveniently. It was just like
it was like well, I'm like, how
I would allow it, but you'd be aware of it. But it's only because
of the certain things that they show with, like, them determining sounds. But I just wish they would have spent more time on it to show that they were, like, masters of sound.
If we only focused on them, we could have spent more time seeing her teach them more things.
Exactly.
And kind of use more ingenuity with things, and kind of, because again, I like the idea where she's teaching them about hitting the rocks together to determine sound, but we never see that actively played out in a situation or situations like that. It's like, it always seems to be like luck that they end up finding each other. You know, just hope and luck. And I also almost wish, and this is just a personal thing, if the movie had only focused on, you see your greatest fear, so you die, that's it, the movie could have been about her overcoming her personal fear, which is, you know, becoming a mother, where that scene at the end, or towards the end, where she's like trying to decide who looks, instead of nobody look and then they luckily somehow survive, I would have had her personally, she's decided, okay, I'm going to die for my kids, I'm going to look. But in looking, she's literally facing her fear, and she's past it, and it's her strength and her will to be a mother ends up making her survive, and she's able to actually push past and literally face her fear and navigate the waters to take her children to safety.
Damn it, Dave, we gotta write everything. For real though, no, I agree.
I feel like that would have really pushed it, because I feel like if the movie focused only on her being a mother,
that's the worst thing about it. Directing wise and acting wise, they had the skills to pull off a really emotional moment. Yes. And we had some, don't get me wrong, the very end of the movie, I was very choked up. I was like, please don't name that kid Tom.
I was never bored.
Name that kid Tom. No, I was never bored.
I was never bored.
It was intense throughout, you know.
Yes. I can say that I was never bored. Anything else before we close this up? We've been talking about a while.
No, I think overall, I think it had really great scenes, and I think it had some great concepts. I kind of want somebody to take the concept and make.
I want to read the book.
Yeah, for sure. Read the book, or I want somebody to read the book. Read the book and let me know how it is.
Find the audiobook.
True. So yeah, but I think all in all, I think acting wise, directing, cinematography, I think editing, I think a lot of the things
the
in the movie went really well.
The original cut showed us the monster, but apparently it looked too ugly.
Yeah, apparently Sandra Bullock thought it was funny. She laughed at it when she saw the first cut, so they got rid of it because of how hard she laughed.
Yeah, and I think it's a concept that has too many ideas where individually.
Yeah, I think somebody just needed to rein it in.
Yeah, they all work individually, but it doesn't work in a film. Maybe it could have been better as a miniseries to really.
I was gonna say I wish it was a series
because then you could have done a lot more.
Yeah, then we could have had some more time to really develop more characters and feel for them and care more when they died or betrayed or, because some things just felt far-fetched or forced.
Yeah, and then some things just jumped into, like, it would take great concepts, but they jumped into cliche territory. Mm-hmm. He's like, that was obvious.
That's the thing. A lot of things were very nuanced, but executed in a traditional way, which didn't make sense for the movie.
No, definitely. I mean, if you love Sandra Bullock, clearly, if you're listening to this point, you watched it. I think it's something that I would tell my friends who haven't watched it. If they said to me, should I watch it? I'd be like, yeah, sure, watch it. But taper your expectations. It's not if it was in theaters, I wouldn't say, go watch it right away. This is the shit.
Mm-hmm. No.
No.
But it's definitely good to watch at home.
Yeah, I would say wait for it to be on Netflix. And so it's already on Netflix. So
check it out.
Yeah. If you guys have your thoughts on the movie, let us know. Actually, wait, I have a couple of friends who gave their thoughts on the movie on the Nerdy Bunch friends. Let's see if I can find it here. We have Flash Historian says, did not meet the hype. I found the director pulled a lot of punches in the horror department. No creature reveal, leaving the imagination of the viewers to do the job. That works in books, but as a movie, I would appreciate more efforts by the director to show me her vision of what is scary. Interesting thoughts by Slash Historian. I didn't mind them not showing anything, but I agree. I understand the issues. CJ D'Amato says, I refuse to give Netflix the views until they release the Marvel characters. Netflix is a new Fox. CJ, controversial views right there. I like it. Cooks DJ, who says, plot hole central. Great concept, awful predictable execution.
Agreed.
Rodney Roberts says, good Netflix movie. Wouldn't pay for it in theaters though. What else do I have? Oh, he says 5 out of 10. Snapper Gamer says, thought it was average. Good plot, okay acting.
Wow.
Interesting. Anyone else? Do you have anyone that responded?
No, just people that responded with pictures of themselves blindfolded. Because those are my friends.
Let's see on our Twitter if there's anyone else that said anything. Oh, yeah, I have one here. Jose Tibby says, it's an alternate, better version of The Happening, but it still fell a bit flat. And Natalie says, I don't want to give into the hype. Maybe next year. Well, Natalie, just watch the movie.
Yeah.
You don't have to be anti because people like it.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, what do you guys think of the movie? Let us know. info@thenerdybunch.com or find us on social media @thenerdybunch. We're going to be delivering a whole bunch of podcasts now that we're back. It's 2019 from the new year. We had a whole bunch of podcasts in the pipeline, which will be released around the same time as this one. So look out for them. I forget, but there's a whole bunch. I forget which ones they are. There'll be some coming. And look out for Raven and I. We'll be doing a recording of, what did we say we're doing?
Damn it.
Demolition Man. Did you find episode over 20 years old? Did you find out live right now?
93.
Sweet. Okay, so Demolition Man.
Demolition Man.
That's the next movie. So guys, check out Demolition Man and let us know your thoughts on that movie. And we'll be doing a Back to the Feature on that, where we talk about movies from the past in the present. In the present.
With our presents.
Anyway, Raven, on that note, sign off with the listeners.
And as always, folks, keep it nerdy.
Keep it nerdy.
Peace.